Tossing Grenades at Windmills podcast.
Welcome to the Tossing Grenades at Windmills podcast. I'm Tom Ricks / Rhombus Tix / Emmit Other, and I'm going to be reading 8 poems for you today that I put up on an app called Poeticizer, which is very much fun and lets you see some great poetry and is a good way for me to get some of my poems out there. Conjunction. Kronos and Zeus battling it out again in the heavens, 800 years past. Mirage of mythology, panoply to the steely naked eye, book ending the year of chaos. Aquarius hosting the galactic affair, drowned in a glory of stars. Stars we cannot see due to the pollution of light. One era ends, another begins. The golden age is ours, if we but claim it. Fire was stolen once. Let's steal it again and go up and join them. Is that a really good idea? By Emmit Other. I see a future, 1,000 years from now, where we are but a myth. Our seeds are scattered to the stars, pan-human missive zeal from one colony to another, and the blink of an eye by quantum entanglement. The line between flesh and steel blurs, and Earth is lost, only to be found again. Earth herself, our cradle, reduced to a rancid Venus hothouse. Our re-explorers are saddened, but their sorrow turns to horror, as the only life in the solar system is a never-ending cave complex deep beneath the surface of Mars. Bat-eyed molemen slink and slime around, living on roaches and spiders and centipedes. Sapient enough to know horror, but with no record of how they came to be. Leon's stink has cursed the Martians to 1,000,000 years of evolutionary horror, just so he could die with a feather in his cap. His grinning skeleton beaming down on the ruin of his colony, orbiting in his car, with his hand on the wheel, stellar wind in the final strand of its vacuum-preserved hair. Lord of the empire of Morlock horror that pan-humanity leaves and never visits again. To My Beloved, by Emmit Other. The stars burn eternal, but also with envy for thee, envoy of kindness, sentinel for all creatures great and small, keeper of lore, organizer of archives, solver of puzzles, patroness of the arts, fashionista appreciator, fellow traveler to exotic and distant lands. We roam the earth, but in some ways this cursed year was blessing, more time with thee. Glory and amber we made the hourglass stopper. In thine eyes I see my best self. Merry Christmas, most beloved. Saving Christmas, parentheses, again, by Emmit Other. There is power in belief, but so few consider the consequences. Such reckless belief might make Santa and his reindeer fly. You might not even mind the Krampus, revived by a raft of Christmas horror movies. But now the existential Christmas dilemma is part of the mythology. Like Mr. Magoo, Santa needs constant saving. His head stuck in a bucket, or jail, or kidnapped by Martians, or trapped in an office complex during an elaborate heist in Nakatomi Plaza. Like Camelot being invaded by every rando and his Aunt Matilda. Incompetent Santa needs constant help. It makes Christmas ours, democratizing the medical distribution of presents. Though by now the sleigh smells like a used restroom in a back of fucking Beyond. The elves really can't get the smell out. So when you see Santa with his neck stuck in a plastic 6-ring beer holder, by all means help the poor bastard out. But let him do his job. Poor man has self-esteem issues. Let Christmas save itself for once. This too shall pass, by Emmit Other. Entropy is constant, the great objective truth, but that doesn't speed our perception of the darkest of times. Hour compounded on hour, till the longest night seems the darkest year. Time is the slayer of everything, but only experience is a balm against how it seems. Darkness will return, darkness will recede. But today we got a vaccine against forgetting in the pit that there is something more, that light exists, even when we cannot see it. This too shall pass. Prince Polonium by Emmit Other. All over Russia, patriots protest evil. Twitter talks about swatches. Do you know how hard it is to protest in minus 30-degree weather? This dark shadow across the world, this nepotistic freak, the father of the axis of fascism, patron saint of illiberal democracy and conservative lies. One man stands up to him, balls of steel, and the dark lords of Silicon Valley distract you with cat videos. Gross beyond gross. Awkward Duck Walk by Emmit Other. Cut off by a vicious family member who now shows empathy, Glassnose is tempted, but draining, and since she started it, it feels intrusively random. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. It is as draining to reply as anything I have ever done. It is in my interest and others' interest to be kind, and I will be, but I will never forget, and will be prepared this time. There will never be a third wound. And finally, Robinhood This by Emmit Other. Cocaine cowboys woke up to find someone had dropped a little acid in their powdered donuts. A montage of cackling chaos, a plethora of well-intended goons set on vengeance for 2008. Riding ostriches like Joust, mechanized armor made of pizza boxes, stormtrooper made of crushed beer cans, a battering ram bought on Amazon. With a bent front half, the rabble storming the electric Bastille. Under a marmalade sky, Lucy's diamonds lull. The masters of the universe finding their shorts jammed down their maw, slobbering jowls of eternal hunger, propped open with glued toothpicks and paper-mache medical bills from COVID. An ever-streaming note of stocks worth nothing, choking them with rage long past overdue. This is no Occupy. This is reckoning. This has been the Tossing Grenades at Windmills podcast. Buy my book, Have Name Will Travel, at Amazon and other markets. RedAnvilCreative.com contains all our podcasts. Copyright 2021.
To fight the forces of evil!